Okay, boss. So I've got 3 attributes here, but I see my first name or gender is pretty much fixed. They don't really change. But when it comes to country code, can my customer today might belong to one country and tomorrow it keeps changing across, right? So I would like to make that as time dependent boss. Now look at the checkbox here. What is this? And if you enable the checkbox, that becomes time dependent boss. And activate. What is the naming of your attribute table? P, right? P is actually only master data time independent will be in P, and all your time dependents will be in Q table. And with 2 extra columns, one is date to and date from. For this customer, from this date to this date, this is a country. From this date to this date, this is a country. Atla pettukuntunnanu. Let me see this here. If you go to here, look at this. Do you have P table? Do you have Q table? P will have only first name and gender, but doesn't have the country code. But if you look at this Q table, it will have what is it? Date to and date from, and what? Country code. And does it, so now is your date to is part of primary key? Since your date is part of primary key, it does allow you to maintain in this table for same customer, you can have multiple records. Okay, since date is also part of primary key, it does allow you to maintain multiple records for the same customer with different date intervals. And let me country code care files. Okay, let me maintain the data now. ఇది కొద్దిగా తేడాగా ఉంటుంది స్క్రీన్ యాడ్ లైన్ సే C100 ఫస్ట్ నేమ్ ఇది టైమ్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ రికార్డ్ టైమ్ డిపెండెంట్ యాడ్ లైన్ C100 ఇది 2 ఫ్రమ్ డేట్ లెట్స్ సే ఓకే దిస్ ఐ విల్ సే 01/01/2010 or let me give it as 2014. Till December 2014, let's say he was in US. Add one more line, C100 from I'll say from 1st of Jan 2015 till 31/9/99 is in, let's say, India. So from starting from the year 2015 he is into India boss. What a customer, let's say like that. Okay, let's just save. Okay boss. Okay, now if I go back, if I go to mass data here, P table, if I go, you'll see normal time independence saying what for CNN, Pratap and male. And then if you go to what Q table, see it says from 2014 till this end of is US, and from 2015 till so and so is in what? India. I'll have to see this all are in which version? Modified still. Do I need to activate the mass data bus before I can use? ST cust, right? Done. So if I go, you will see all active version records, right? So master data. So if you maintain time dependent, for you'll have date to and date from, for each date interval you can maintain different set of attribute values. Now to see these reflections in the reporting, what I want is I'll go to my cube. Yeah, I will change this cube. First let me delete data in the cube. And let me change this cube. I will delete the old customer info object. I'll refer to this now new one, ST cust now. So that I can refer these attributes of it. Kind of customer the 100 of it at least set amount data. So you have two values now. So the question is, in the reporting, when I try to see country code along with the customer number in the reporting, which country will it show? Will it show India or US first? Got my question? Yeah. కింద కస్టమర్ నంబర్స్ ఎట్లా చూసుకుంటా. I'll map this with the yes customer. I know I maintained market only for CNN, not for others. Let it show me data only for that. That's fine. So I'll get in and when you go to customer, and do you see an attribute called country code? Yeah. Okay. Now which country code will it show for me for C100 is what the question. Yeah. Good. If you remember, I left one property in the query properties. There is something called key date. You remember? I said I will touch this later. So I'll specify the key date to be, let's say, what is I gave some date in what 2015. Here characteristic 3 is not available in forward. This one. Done. What it's saying? Since my key date falls in the second interval where my country is India, it comes in India. Suppose I'll change my key date to be I'll try to give some date which falls in the second interval where my country, where it belongs to what? Yes. That is time dependent attribute. When you model an incorporate as time dependent attribute, it does maintain a table called q/q with date to and date from interval. So it does allow you to, and since date is part of primary key, for the same customer it does allow you to maintain multiple entries with different date intervals. And what value comes in the reporting depends on the key date of the query. That's it, time dependent, right? And next we have something called time dependent navigation. What is it here? It's combination of both. It's a time dependent and acting as what? Navigation attribute. That's it. Now let me set this. Let me go to stcust. Yeah. It is already time dependent, right? I want to. It's already time dependent, and I also want to enable it as navigation attribute. Text for char and activate. Okay, I enable it here. Then where do I enable again? Cube on which you are doing reporting. Is an stcust underscore s code. Activate. Let me log it to query again. So go to customer, you will have normal normal time dependent version, you'll also have what? Time dependent navigation. What will be difference between these two? Both will show same value as per your key date, but only thing is drill down effect. If I remove customer, this goes, but this can still exist in the drill. It acts like a carrot stick. So time dependent attribute should act like carrot stick. Then you go with what? Time dependent navigation attribute. Then there's something called transient. Compounding. Very very important. Say I'm creating this product. Z mat underscore PLNT. Look at this case. I am trying to create a mat plant info bit with 4 attributes: category, price, and so on. So, but what I want is, if I just activate this, what will be primary key here? Say material number. So will it allow 2 records with same material number, M1, M1? Allow this. It will allow, but it won't override them. Yes or no? But again, M1 of plant P1 is different from M1 of plant P2. So I want my master table where material and plant together are primary keys. Whatever the attributes have been defining till now, they are non-key columns. But I want an attribute which can act as a primary key in my attribute table. So that, for example, mat plant, where the value of plant differs on material was. Right? So what I'll do, I'll create one info bit called plant separately. Say something like char and 3. See what is this tab here? Compounding. Start specifying Z. In all your tables, P table, text table, X table, Y table, every table will get affected with. Oh, sorry, I forgot one point. I'll remind also. Okay. All your tables now. If you go to P, what is the primary key in this? Normal attributes play as non-key columns, but your compounding attribute will act as primary column. So when you have superior info bit, when the value of one info bit depends on value of other info bit, like say mat plant, customer sales, then you go with what? Compounding attributes. And when you have compounding attribute, let's say whenever I use mat, this plant will always follow it. Now, will it allow you to maintain master data for 2 things? P1, M1, P1, M2, and the compounding attribute. And you have an option here. Say generally you load master data from different sources. So you're loading from Oracle, flat file, all this. But what I want is, I would like to make from flat file also I'm getting C1, from Oracle also I'm getting C1, from ECS also I'm getting C1, from DB Connect also I'm getting C1. What happens if I load like this? They'll go to overwrite. Ultimately only one C1 is left. But what happens? C1 from flat file is different, C1 from Oracle is different. For me, C1 is, I would like to differentiate that. So what I'll do, I want my master data locally for each of the source systems. Then I want customer along with one more column as source system. Then I'm looking at this. Compounding, the checkbox here. What is here? Where the automatic source system will be coming as compounding attribute. Then your customer and source system together will act as primary key. Then FF C100. DB C100, EC C100, and only differentiate the HOs. Like this, you can make your master data locally for source systems also. And when you have compounding attributes, in other info bits will follow it. And for example, when I use this mat in the reporting, even these two will automatically come in. If I use this in the cube, even these two will come into the cube. Okay, boss? And all your tables will get affected. X table, everything gets affected with into primary key. Look at this mat plant will go there. Okay, boss. P table, text lo kuda vastund mat, source system, plant, mit all primary key. Okay. One point I forgot. Yes. What is the table used for navigation attribute? X table, right? For time dependent navigation attribute does use Y. Sorry, I forgot this. Again, Y will have the SIDs referring, but with the time dependence again. Same atle emuntu date to date from it. Same like xtime, which is a SID combination reference for time independence. For same way, time independence will have references of SIDs from y table. Okay. And there is something on transient. Let me just cross check the name. I forgot, but transitive attribute. Because there is a new provider called transient. So transitive attribute. I have never worked on this, but this is not big concept. Second level of navigational attribute is called as transitive attribute. For example, look at this. Say for example, you go to customer. You have a navigation attribute. What is this here? Country code. And if this has one more, let me. And if this has got one more attribute, let's say country manager, you have a navigation attribute, and that navigation attribute has got one more navigation attribute to it. We call that as transitive attribute. We call that as second level of navigation attribute. I have never used it, but there is a concept like this saying transitive attribute, which says you have a navigation attribute, and this navigation attribute has got one more navigation attribute to it. We call that as transitive attribute. Second level of navigation attribute. That's it. That's about types of attributes. And 1 second. Notes ikkadinde, I can take this notes.